Problem number 6. There are 2,598,960 possible hands in poker. If there are 4 possible ways to have a royal flush, find the probability of being dealt a royal flush. Okay, well, the probability of a royal flush is going to be equal to how many ways are there to get a royal flush? There's 4 ways. How many possible outcomes are there? There are 2,598,960. This will simplify to 1 out of 649,740, which is approximately 0.000000154. That's tens, hundreds, thousands, 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths. So this is in the millionths place. 154 millionths. Not very good odds. Problem number 7. For problem number 7, we need to read the statement and study the following tables. Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk, used the idea of randomness to establish the study of genetics. To study the flower color of a certain pea plants, he found that pure red crossed with pure white produces red. Mendel theorized that red is dominant, which is going to be symbolized by the capital R, while white is recessive, capitalized by the lowercase r. The pure red parent carried genes only for red, that's going to be the dominant, capital R. And the pure white parent carried only genes for white, that's going to be the recessive with the lowercase r. Every offspring receives 1 gene from each parent, which leads to the following tables below. So, for example, for the first to second generation, we have the first parent that has the dominant genes for red, and then we have the second parent with the recessive genes, for white. Now, each generation gets a gene from each parent. So we'll just look at this table. For this first cell, we have R, capital R, lowercase r, then capital R, lowercase r, and so forth. That's how you create the first generation. Now, going from the second to third generation, we're going to take these parents that are produced here. So that each parent in the second generation to the second, third generation has the dominant gene and the recessive gene. And then when we complete our table, we have this cell, which has 2 of the dominant genes. This cell and this cell have a dominant and a recessive gene. And then this cell has 2 of the recessive genes. Okay, so let's use this table to answer questions A and B. Referring to the second and third generation table, that's going to be this one right here. Determine the probability that a third generation will be red. Now, to answer this question, remember that to be a red plant, you either have to have dominant red genes, or if you have a recessive gene, but you have a dominant gene, the dominant gene takes over. So, looking at this table, there are 3 possibilities for the second generation, or excuse me, the third generation to be red. So the probability of the third generation being red is going to be 3 out of 4, which is 0.75. Now, what's the probability of that third generation being white? Well, there's only one way to get white, and that's if the third generation has both of the recessive genes. So that's going to be 1 out of 4, which is 0.5.